Great. Well, thanks so much to Josh, Jeremy, Owen for covering a tremendous amount of material and a short amount of time. And so I'm just gonna sort of put a bow on some of what they've done just by pointing to some folks to some additional resources that have come up during the talks. And I, like Jeremy, with reforestation nurseries and genetic resources, we refer to it as Ringer, and we will respond to Ranger as well. Uh, at this point in time, with the Forest Service, I think it's really important that people see names, associate those with faces. And that's part of what I'm going to do here. Some really good resources out there for you. And the Ringer website, which was already mentioned, I'll show again. It's all about seed and seedling production, reforestation and restoration, how to store seed um, is increasingly important. Josh talked about assistant migration, and it's really nice to, as a Ringer member, to be able to participate in trainings like this. So this is sort of an overview of the team, and I'm going to go through some of the key folks here that might be relevant to people in the Southwest. And let's start off here. Earlier, Josh was mentioning that there are Forest Service nurseries that you might want to contact as a resource. And one of the things I would encourage you to do is, although these people are technically Washington office based, these were all nursery managers. In Sarah and Lindsay's case, nursery managers and Kayla managed the Bend Seed Extractory for many years. So they'd be a really good place to go to. They would either be able to answer your questions or know which nursery to guide you to. Sarah is also she does a lot of our grant work and grant coordination. So she's a good person to tie with that. For more information about these folks and for ones that I don't cover, if you go to the Ringer website and you go to About and Personnel, you can learn more. If you don't know who Jeremy was, then shame on you. Just a treasure, and it was great. It was amazing how much material he was able to synthesize so clearly earlier in the day. Paul Rhodes is new to the team as the National Nursery Pest Specialist. He's an entomologist by training. He's on this call. Like a lot of entomologists, he dabbles extensively in pathology. He is based out of Region 3, like Jeremy, even though he's over in Athens, Georgia. He was mentioning he has knowledge not just of nursery and seed orchard pests, but also early silviculture pests that you might come across, like pine tit moth. Great resource to have. Also want to highlight Emily, who we saw briefly on the screen earlier. Prior to being the Southern Nursery Specialist, she was a longtime container grower. There she is. Hey, Emily. Longtime container grower at Coeur d'Alene Nursery, and has grown many millions of seedlings for the Intermountain West, including down into the Southwest. So while her title is Southern Nursery Specialist, she has a wealth of knowledge on Intermountain container growing as well. Myself, I service the Western regions here. I'll put my contact information at the end, as well as a personal email. And then finishing up here, I always chuckle at Matt. He looks so visionary in that photo, but like he's back to run for president or something. Anyway, Andrea Watts is the editor of Tree Planters Notes, and that is a trade journal that if you're that I highly recommend subscribing to. You can get it either online, in person, or both. So if you haven't written it down yet, ringer.net is this great resource. The website is there's a lot of information on there. Someone described it as a labyrinth. It's good to just take some time to navigate around there. One of the things I'm going to be showing is under publications, some of the manuals that have already been discussed, but there's a whole bunch of resources on there that you can find. The Woody Plant Seed Manual was described a fair amount earlier with a lot of enthusiasm for that. What we call the Tribal Nursery Manual, or Nursery Manual for Native Plants, is a great synthesis of a lot of other manuals. It's particularly used and enjoyed by restoration nursery growers. Um, a lot of our information is sort of targeted more towards conifer production or hardwoods in the South. It's a fantastic resource as well. Okay, here's a little advertisement for Tree Planters Notes. It's celebrating its 75th anniversary this year, which is impressive. One of the best things about it is that it not only hits this core audience here, tree planters, but it is a lot of articles produced by practitioners for practitioners. No knock on academic journals, whatever, but sometimes you just want stuff produced by people who are actually living it day to day. Really encourage that every silviculturist on the call have this manual. It's volume 7, came out, I think, in 2011. A lot of information is still very current. And you'll notice that some of the illustrations from the talks were drawn from this manual. One thing that we don't have is a Southwest specific manual. Emily and I were talking earlier. There's this great manual from back in the 90s called Care and Planting of Southern Pines, which has some hilarious illustrations in it as well. The needs of the Southwest are unique. It's not California, it's not the Northwest or the South. The monsoon planting. Part of the goal of this workshop is to help develop information towards a Southwest specific manual. And really, when you think about it, reforestation, restoration planning in the Southwest is probably the most challenging reforestation restoration that one can do, especially if you are ignoring some of the biological considerations that were brought up earlier in the talks. Some tribal folks on the call as well here, and want to call out that nursery manual again. Jeremy Pinto, invaluable resource in terms of on-site consultation. If you're a tribal representative who's on this, you probably know Jeremy already, but use him. And Jeremy puts on an Intertribal Nursery Council meeting that sort of rotates around North America. In addition to that, we have regional meetings that we put on, one in the West, and then there's one that sort of rotates between the Northeast and the South. Now, for this audience, I will say that the ones in the West tend to be either in the Pacific Northwest or the Intermountain Northwest up by Idaho. There is a gap and a need for Southwest specific pipeline training. So it's wonderful that this is taking place, and really looking forward to follow-on trainings and things like that take place. It has been a gap. So with that, just want to note that if you want to get a hold of me, probably I don't have USDA access and not sure if I will going forward. So Nabil Khadduri@gmail.com.